What up, what nuts, Humpty Dump Nuts, and everybody else? It is Wednesday, October 2nd, the United States and Canada, and this is What Chaos presented by Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code WhatChaos to get $50 instantly when you play $5. Prize Picks, run your game. My name is David Bean. Next to me is Peter Blackburn. Further next to me is Sean DePaz. Before I even ask, hi, boys, I'm going to give a quick little what's going on the show today. We're going to talk to Sleeveless Gaming, a.k.a. Cam Halpert, about NHL 25. Mm-hmm. It's out. It's on Friday. Well, it's out for people who want it to play.
Like who want to really want to play. Early access.
Early access people are playing it. Cam is among them. Pete is among them. So we'll talk about NHL 25. We'll talk about all the preseason madness that is going on, including everybody being mad at Arber Xhekaj. And also, we're going to look at what the awards postseason, everything would be based on just this preseason. So that's your fun show today. I need to ask first, before we do anything else. Hi, boys.
Hey.
Hey, howdy.
That's my question to you. Hi. How are you, Sean?
All right.
Good?
Yeah. I'm still high in the Saberhood, so
good.
We're living life.
I watched the Amazon series that is out Friday. I've seen every episode but one. Seen every episode but the Jack Eichel episode.
Has there been a bigger day in October for the NHL? You have NHL 25 coming out. You have the Amazon series Forecheck coming out. And you have the season officially starting.
Is it called Face Off?
Face Off, yeah.
You said Forecheck.
Face Off.
Okay.
That's a great promo for me.
Yeah. But that's all coming. We're talking to Daniel Amagon, the showrunner and executive producer of it, tomorrow, because tomorrow the embargo is lifted, so we could talk more about it. But it's a very fun show. We encourage everybody to watch it. Let's begin this show with some light hit chat, because everyone is pissed, as I mentioned, at Arber Xhekaj. Last night's preseason game against the Canadiens, threw sort of ish, tried to throw like a big hit on Tim Stützle, ended up hurting Stützle, ended up for sure getting Xhekaj tossed out of the game. It would appear that Arber Xhekaj not getting any supplemental discipline. I don't know how to feel about this, because I love the preseason and I want more preseason. We become preseason guys, but I watched this and I'm like, fuck. Maybe there needs to be a rule that you can't play too hard in the preseason, because that play, I saw that play and I was like, that's fucking ridiculous. What are we doing here?
Well, I mean, first of all, you don't need to do that shit in the preseason. I agree with that 100%. I also think that we got to talk about like Arber Xhekaj. Reel it in, buddy. If there's anybody that needs to reel it in, like he's the guy who went after
Cedric
Pare for injuring Patrick Laine on the knee, which like may not have been Pare's fault 100%. Like Xhekaj's on kind of a mission to rip everybody's head off right now. Reel it in for sure. But that hit, based off the precedent that we know and what the Department of Player Safety has established.
Watch it.
Xhekaj didn't make contact with the head. It was a predatory hit that he didn't land. He hit like the front of Stützle's body, made his own stick go into his face. That's why Stützle got hit in the face. So we know that they don't punish fully based off intent. So to be surprised that Xhekaj's not getting any more supplemental discipline for that I think that we can all calm down, say Xhekaj needs to reel it in a little bit, and say that he probably doesn't need to be suspended for that.
Yeah, and he's going to get suspended at some point anyway. He's just a
right.
madman right now.
Just wait a week.
Anyway, I just don't like the idea of Tim Stützle getting hurt in the preseason. Especially when like,
100%.
We've already lost Patrick Laine, which is not as bad as we thought. It's only going to be 2 to 3 months. Doesn't need surgery. Is posting happy pictures. I'll take that all day. By the way, folks, throughout the show, comment on the actual YouTube video, not in the chat. Comment on the YouTube video which jerseys you think that we're getting. Like maybe it's based on whatever we happen to be talking about, but if you get a thought of which jerseys you think we're getting, toss it in there.
Do you want to hear Daniel's thoughts? Daniel Amagon,
executive producer and showrunner of hold on, we're gonna call it a different name every time because of you. Dump and Chase.
Yes. His guess he wanted to say during the interview, but he didn't have time. He said Sean is getting Quentin Byfield, the Kings home jersey. A lot of people guessing that Sean is going to get a Kings jersey.
I'm seeing exclusive Sean is getting Quentin Byfield chat, and
making assumptions.
I might have no choice.
I mean,
but Sean is like the I'm the black hockey guy.
Also, yeah, that as well. So like,
yeah,
it is certainly, it would be on brand.
Correct. Right. That Byfield for you sounds like CC for me, where like that. It's a good guess.
Guess that you were going to get Pierre-Luc Dubois. Also a pretty good guess.
Oh, wow.
That was my big guess.
I never considered that a PLD.
Because he talks about how much he loves
jersey.
80 and how much he loves how weird the Capitals are.
Yeah.
So that would be in my top guesses for DJ. But I feel like it's too fucking on the nose. Maybe.
I feel like there's so many options for DJ that like it's all in play.
I will also say, all I'll say is like, other than we need to blur my face when we say some of these guesses, because I just blushed when you said Pierre-Luc Dubois. Pierre-Luc Dubois is extremely September 10th coded.
Yes, 100%. And then for me, he guessed Linus Ullmark, Ottawa Senators. So
that's...
Oh, I never thought about that one.
I haven't revealed my guesses for you boys yet, but Ullmark Senators is in the mix on my brain for Pete. Oh, you can't comment during a live episode. We don't know how YouTube works.
Yeah, the chat is what is like you can only comment on once it goes after. So comment in the chat.
And then once the show is over, go and put your comments there.
That's right.
Or if anybody is just watching this on YouTube, not live, comment. Some of the guesses right now are very good. Getting a Cedric Paré Marlies jersey. Not bad. We know... Yeah, I could see one of us getting a lot of those. Like, I could see one of us getting a Byfield. Like, between the three of us, Byfield would make sense. Between the three of us, Ullmark would make sense.
No, I would never get a Linus Ullmark jersey.
Okay.
Wow. What a hater.
Well, no, I would if he wasn't a Senator.
We've done a lot of talk about, like, how awesome the preseason is.
Yeah.
Do we quantify or, like, classify what happened last night as awesome because it was interesting? Like for us, people who do a daily show now on the NHL during preseason, a lot of the preseason stuff isn't interesting. Don't want to talk about it. Do we classify like a hate-filled game in which there like may have been injury potential?
I think that it adds to preseason being important, that a big dramatic thing happened in the preseason that even if you don't care about it right now, like Tim Stützle, I haven't seen an update on him or anything.
I think he's fine.
I think, okay, good. But like Tim Stützle went down and that's like their season. If that happens, if he's lost for a long time.
There was also like Brady Tkachuk left the game.
Yeah.
Kirby Dach left the game at one point, then came back. Like
Kirby Dach was all over that game, brother.
Kirby Dach was flirting with people in the stands.
Huh?
Kirby Dach was flirting with people in the stands.
Yeah, he was, like you said, fingerprints all over that game, 100%.
Oh, speaking of fingerprints, we do have to do a fingerprints watch. We uncovered this before the show. You cannot say Arber Xhekaj killed Tim Stützle without saying Jack Eichel. So, Sean, come get your
fingerprints are all over this.
Jack Eichel's fingerprints are all every time Arber Xhekaj like nearly decapitates somebody,
which I'm sure will happen again.
we will blame Jack Eichel.
I think that in preseason, whenever there's like a scare involving a main player, like an important player, just shut that shit down. Shut it down like immediately.
Yeah.
Like I don't like the discussion about like Do we have to be doing all these preseason games because look who's getting hurt? Like
I hate that.
That
so
stuff
much.
is going to happen if it happens in game 1 of the NHL season, or game 2 of the NHL season, or even game 82 of the NHL season. Like, the solution isn't to like cut it down, in my opinion. Like, you need these games to ramp up and get ready, and you're finding out about guys who are on the fringe of your roster. Shit happens. It's sports. It's hockey. People are gonna get hurt. Am I happy that Patrick Laine is going to be out for like 5 months because of preseason? Absolutely not. But if he's playing in a hockey game, there's a chance that he's going to get hurt.
Well, all of this comes as the Board of Governors meetings going down, and NHL and NHLPA talking, and Pierre-Luc Lebrun, so I'm going to call Pierre from now on, Pierre-Luc Lebrun tweets, the NHL and NHLPA have already chatted about it and will do so more seriously in CBA talks. Reduce preseason to 4 games and add 2 games to regular season to make it 84. That's the idea anyway. We'll see where it goes in CBA talks. I hate that.
Same.
I don't like anything that makes the regular season longer.
Same.
If you want to make the preseason shorter, as we'll discuss later, I'm not crazy about it because this preseason has given us a lot of absolute gold. But don't do it so you can make the regular season long. How about you start the fucking playoffs at the end of March? I don't know. Instead of mid-April, and give Sean and I COVID because you have to do the Stanley Cup final and the draft and the awards all within like 2 days of each other.
That's definitely why you got COVID.
Well, just like it didn't all need to be that crazy and condensed, and all the cup final, the awards, the draft, and July 1, I want to say, all happened within a week.
There's zero reason for that to all happen within a week.
That's definitely
gross.
The end of the Stanley Cup final should be at least a week before the draft.
At
least.
Yes.
At least. We went on a plane from Florida to the draft.
25th. I think the draft was the 29th. So the 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th. I'm crushing it math-wise the last couple of days. But
I don't care if you want to shorten the preseason, but I agree with you that you don't need to take those games and add them on to the regular season. I don't really think that the preseason needs to be shortened either. It definitely shouldn't be longer, but I don't think it needs to be shorter.
Chat is just deeply into what jerseys did we get. They're reminding each other of the rules. Somebody said Sean got UPL. Quickly was reminded, hey, just a heads up, Sean can't get Sabres, DJ can't get Oilers, Pete can't get Bruins.
Lark is like over because then he went to Doane Utah Hockey Club, which is also not on the table because the Utah Hockey Club jerseys aren't available yet.
Yes, that's right.
This is making me feel a little bit better about the chaos chain because nobody can follow the rules of the chaos chain, which famously has 9,000 rules. But this practice only has like 3 rules, and people still can't keep track of them.
DJ got a Matvei Michkov jersey, not September 10th coded, unfortunately.
I love the idea that we all got the Hughes brothers.
Oh, I thought you were going to say. I thought you were going to say. I love the idea that we all got like Michkov, Siplikov,
Zadorov,
Hughes.
Yeah.
We just all got Russians. I would have loved I loved it if we just all accidentally got the 3 Hughes brothers.
Oh yeah,
I'm very confident in saying there's 0% chance of that happening.
I agree, but
it is important. Speaking of Michkov, I have a very important breaking news item on Matvei Michkov, which is much like his Russian brethren on the New York Islanders, we've been saying his name wrong.
It's Michkov.
It's Mishkov.
Mishkov, like Misha Barton.
Exactly. It's exactly like Misha Barton.
Misha Barton of the Philadelphia Flyers.
Saying Matvei right is at least a little feather in our cap.
Also, I like the journey of learning players' names.
Yeah,
it adds to the lore a little bit, and it makes you realize at some point how far you've come when you've been saying Mishkov right for a couple of years. You can be like, remember when we couldn't even say this guy's name, and now he's the biggest star in the NHL?
Yeah, or maybe there's an Ilya Samsonov thing that is just his entire career. Nobody knows his name. That's one of the better ones, I would say. I got an Elias Samsonov, by the way.
Yeah. The Mishkov show was in Boston last night.
I know. Picked up an assist.
Got on the board.
Picked up a nice little apple. Not bad. Assisted. I forget whose goal. I saw it.
Konechny, I believe.
Yes. Yeah. Flyers having themselves a hell of a preseason. If the preseason ended today, they'd be in the playoffs.
Ooh.
That is true. I believe they would be a wild card team in the Central Division. We're going to get to that. I'm sorry, in the Metropolitan Division.
Probably not.
We'll get to that in just a little bit. Matt Rempe skated, and that sounds like we're talking about him coming back from an injury.
Mm-hmm.
He just merely skated. Matt Rempe, we can't show the video, correct, Sean? There's a shift of Matt Rempe that was going around last night. Initially tweeted by a Rangers fan being like, hell yeah, that's our guy. And then immediately dunked on by every other hockey fan in the world because God bless him. We love Matt Rempe. Famously was going to come on our show if it weren't for, slowly moving around, throwing a few hits. And that is not my Matt Rempe is back moment.
No, I do like that.
That's my that is my Matt Rempe is yes, Matt Rempe is exactly back to.
But I like that Rangers fans are like, yes, Matt Rempe's back, and that's what they're referring to. Also, the entire Matt Rempe experience from last night was exactly what I want the Matt Rempe experience to be for me, for my personal reasons. During the game, he had that clip that went viral, missing a hit, then. Kind of missing another hit, skating a little bit poorly. And then after the game, you get a fun, goofy Matt Rempe clip of him learning to dance, the Hot to Go dance.
Hot to Go. Sean, you got it? Sans music? Maybe do it with music as well.
There's
take
Matt
some chances.
Rempe.
Sean's saying no.
Absolutely not.
Play some music.
I think Chapel Roan's off the internet for a week or two. We might be able to get away with it in this time frame.
Chapel, you would have loved this.
I don't know if she'd endorse
the
it,
What
but...
Chaos show account. Chapel, come back online. You would have loved Matt Rempe. You would have loved Matt Rempe.
So Matt Rempe being a goofy motherfucker and learning the Chapel Roan Hot to Go dance. I only want the Matt Rempe experience if he's still playing a little shittily, and he's being goofy and fun at some point. It can be after the game, but I don't want Matt Rempe just solely being a tough guy or solely being a good or bad hockey player. I want all parts of the Matt Rempe experience working in unison.
Everybody chat, go to twitter.com and retweet the most recent tweet from What Chaos, which is Chapel, come back online. You will love Matt Rempe. It's already got one like, now one retweet. It is just absolutely flying. Yeah, and I love but my thing with Matt Rempe is I don't want it to feel like a young Michael Jackson or something where it's but we're having him do all this stuff. Is he okay? Does he want to be doing all this stuff?
I mean, the dance video didn't have the Britney Spears energy where it's somebody's behind the camera making her dance or whatever.
It did to me.
Well, I mean, somebody was behind the camera making him dance because they were teaching him the Chapel Roan Hot to Go dance, but he actively participated in that.
He threw up a smile and a double thumbs up at the end.
Yeah.
I just worry for him.
Famously, Matt Rempe kind of does love to entertain and be somewhat of a endearing shit stirrer. Remember when that girl kept putting up the polls on her Instagram story?
Oh, yeah.
And he was just like, no, I don't want to go on a date with you.
Will you date me? And he was like, no.
I love
No,
that.
thank you.
I love Matt Rempe the person.
Yeah, I've said this a few times. I just want Matt Rempe to be okay. Somebody said famous Rangers fan Chapel Roan. Is Chapel Roan a Rangers fan? I don't know where she's from. She's not from Tennessee, despite Pink Pony Club's Tennessee placement.
She is from Willard, Missouri.
Probably not a Rangers fan.
I was going to say maybe had a little Mississippi energy to her, but alphabetically that's pretty close. Okay, so Matt Rempe is trying to throw hits, and I would say dancing very well. it was also a big night for friends of the podcast. Connor Bedard goes after Joel Eriksson Ek. Did you see that?
I did not.
Gave him a little, they got tangled up a little bit, and Bedard did like a cross check as if to say, enough. Gave him a little cross check. They got in each other's faces. Love that out of our guy. Linus Ullmark made a windmill save on Jake Evans to preserve a 4-3 Senators win.
We know how much Linus Ullmark loves a windmill.
Touching
gets the boys going.
Yep. Yes.
Like
just touching the sky. Fantastic. Jacob Lauko scored.
Obviously.
You
know how many goals he scored this preseason?
Under 4.
He might. No.
Maybe
I trust your research because you've been doing like
I've been hammering preseason research.
Stat research.
Yeah. I'm so advanced in my...
He's got at least 3 because he scored in back-to-back games like a week ago, and now he scored again. So he's got at least 3. He may have 4.
Sean Dursey also scored.
Hell yes.
And you know how I know that Sean Dursey scored?
No.
Alan Walsh tweeted about it.
Okay. Perfect.
My client has scored a goal. Thank you. Oh, speaking of his clients, we didn't note this. There was a thing going around that Bleacher Report posted, which was Marc-Andre Fleury goes incognito as a staff member at wherever. I texted to you guys with, as opposed to when he goes incognito as a member of the Minnesota Wild.
Correct. Yeah.
And it was just Marc-Andre Fleury with a mustache.
Yeah. Some of the Marc-Andre Fleury stuff is funny, and some of it is worth posting about. Sometimes, though, people react like it's like the lady in the frozen food aisle with the bag of peas on her head or whatever it is. Like, oh, he's so zany. She's so crazy. That's maybe I'm just being like cynical or miserable.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's just like, okay, cool.
What other players do we do that with? I feel like we actively don't do it with Trevor Zegras.
Yeah, because that guy,
Trevor Zegras, come on the
needs
podcast.
to do like 40% less.
What if he does What Chaos and then that's his like official retirement from doing
the
stuff?
last media thing that he ever does?
Yeah,
that would be a nice little notch in the belt. Be like, we are the podcast that made Trevor Zegras not want to do any of that shit anymore.
But we would make him not want to do it anymore by like we would have him on and be like, hey, here's why you should not do this stuff anymore. Not like we did something that offended him so much that he was ready to be done with it.
Stacey Faye makes a good point. Like we're at this point, we're all kind of itching for like things that are interesting and are grabbing our attention. So maybe Marc-Andre Fleury did a good job picking his spot there to like, hey, none of this shit matters. Let's give some people things to laugh at or whatever. But I'm just ready for the regular season. Let's fucking move on.
I'm ready to get to some of these games. And if I go, I'll get my tickets from Game Time, the only ticketing app that gives you complete peace of mind with your purchase. They're obsessed with finding ways to help you save money on tickets. Game Time has deals on tickets right up to the start of the event, and even an hour after it starts, it's the place to find last-minute seats. And you know me, I love the layout of their website, of their app. You do a little zoom in. You got there are just a bunch of little bubbles. They got a little lightning sign to show like, hey, this one might zap you. Careful with these seats. Might be you sit down and it's like one of those little shock things that you do when you shake somebody's hand. So they have little lightning bolts to show like don't sit down. Don't sit down in this one. It's electric. Don't spill beer while you're walking through this aisle. You might end up shocking somebody. With zone deals, you pick the section and Game Time picks the seats for an average of 18% savings, and the Game Time guarantee means you'll always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHAOS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHAOS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed.
Shout out to the chat. People are saying Marc-Andre Fleury haters. Relax, boy. He's fun. Like, we're not hating on Marc-Andre Fleury.
Famously, I might have gotten a Marc-Andre Fleury.
I love people that do weird shit.
Yeah, I love Marc-Andre Fleury. I just don't. I'm not going to be like, holy shit, I know Marc-Andre Fleury is hilarious. That was like not hilarious.
Ambassador to Greece asks, is Marc-Andre Fleury freaking epic? I'm thinking so.
Somebody said it needs Swayman to sign the goddamn contract. Shout out to the guy in my neighborhood yesterday. I was walking the dog. Don't know this guy, never met him, just yelled at me like, is Swayman going to fucking sign or what? So that's where we're at.
Oh yeah.
I'm getting texts from people in all walks of life being like, what's the scoop?
I know, and I love getting those texts. I hate getting those texts when it's about the Bruins and like maybe their season gonna be like in the toilet.
And also, respectfully, I haven't covered the Bruins in like 100 years. You've like never like actually properly covered the Bruins. So when people ask us for like Bruins
What's the
scoops, I feel bad. It's flattering, but I'm like, I don't know. Let me actually, yeah. Like I'm just not that guy, pal.
Nope, definitely not. But if you're the guy that likes to go outdoors, you can head to ruggedOutdoors.com, a new sponsor of this podcast. Rugged Road is dedicated to creating innovative and durable outdoor gear for adventurers who demand the best. If you couldn't tell by my my Jackson Hole shirt that I got from Instagram because I thought it looked cool, I'm quite the outdoorsman. Their products are designed with the highest quality materials and craftsmanship, ensuring that they perform in the toughest conditions. Whether you're on land or water, perhaps both, Rugged Road is built to accompany you on every adventure. One of the most unique features of Rugged Road coolers is their ability to always float upright, never lose a drink. Not exactly the biggest outdoorsman, but speaking my language with that one. Don't like losing my drinks. Unlike other heavy-duty coolers, Rugged Road coolers are incredibly light, making them easy to transport on any trip without compromising on performance. They're also crafted to handle the toughest environments. Their coolers are built to last, ensuring that they can keep up with any adventure. The coolers are guaranteed to keep their contents cool for up to 7 days. God damn. But often much longer than that. Perfect for a variety of outdoor activities, from fishing to tubing to camping to tailgating. These coolers are designed to meet the needs of every outdoor or sport enthusiast. So, gear up for your next adventure with Rugged Road coolers. Reliable, durable, and built to be used. Rugged Road is your ultimate outdoor companion. Head to ruggedroadoutdoors.com and use code ALLCITY for 10% off.
We have breaking news in the NHL. T. Ginla has been sent to the Kelowna Rockets of the WHL. So no
shock there.
Tej in the NHL this season. Not a surprise. Typically, your 6th overall picks aren't making the team. David Pastrnak, famously 25th overall pick, who made the team. No big deal. But kind of a bummer.
Yeah, it would be a lot cooler if he did.
It'd be a lot cooler if he did. But, so he'll...
Remember wear the jersey.
A Utah...
Well, he
It'll
wore it
also
in
be associated with
preseason.
his draft year.
And he wore it in preseason.
Preseason,
so
right.
that's
There are pictures of Tej wearing a Utah jersey. Let's go through the preseason and take it way too seriously. Sean, do you have the preseason standings for us?
I do.
Hit me with the Atlantic, please. Buffalo Sabres leading the way with 10 points. First place. Red Wings making the playoffs? Making the Yoffs? Linus Ullmark? That was a huge save he made last night. Preserved a point.
Yeah, kept him in contention.
Boston Bruins, you are out of the playoffs. Thanks, Cam Neely. Yeah.
Got 64 million reasons why you need to be better.
Canadiens, dead last. Arber Xhekaj just tanked that team. Lightning should have kept Steven Stamkos. Hit me with the Metro. Sir. Rangers. Ooh. Rangers and Blue Jackets. Blue Jackets playoff team. Love it. Islanders. Flyers in there. Hurricanes, man. They just couldn't handle all those losses. Devils. Oh, whoa.
Tough scene for the Devils.
Devils got to fire. Do the Devils have to fire Sheldon?
Bring back Lindy. Like
clearly,
Lindy was not the problem. Lindy clearly up stonks on Lindy and down stonks on Sheldon Keefe.
Central. I'm all over the place in my divisions. Dallas Stars, just pros as always. Utah making the playoffs. Thank you to Tej Ginla. Minnesota Wild. I'll be honest, I haven't seen much of their preseason. And the Jets. Good for the Jets, but the Jets would not make the playoffs here because they only have 3 points. It would. I would assume the Pacific, if you could hit us with the Pacific.
Wait, hold on. But the Colorado Avalanche, congratulations to your draft lottery winners in Colorado.
They're doing the Pickard year again.
Well, they have to win the lottery still. They do,
but they have the best odds.
And the Blackhawks are only a point ahead of them based on NHL history. And the Blackhawks are getting that first overall pick.
If you come in last in the preseason, they do a draft lottery, and the winner gets the best player that was too injured to play in the preseason. So, like, right now, like the Avalanche could get Gabriel Landeskog.
They could get Patrick Laine.
They get
He
played.
Oh, true.
He played.
Yeah, fair.
Evander
And
Kane.
so I was saying, like, and guys, teams will rush their players to play, so they're exempt from the draft. And then guys
Just
will get
trotting
more.
out guys there that are like on life
Like,
support.
you must take a shift.
Yeah.
Mark Stone is playing on a walker.
Yeah, Mark
So
Stone would end up playing more preseason games than he would play regular season games. Hit me with the Pacific. Calgary Flames, something good happened to them famously. Kings, Knights, ooh, love me some wild card Oilers. Don't make the Oilers hungry, because when they get hungry, they feast.
But I mean, if you're going by point percentage, the Vancouver Canucks may have them beat there.
Oh, that's right. No, yes, I can't do the math, but probably maybe. But yeah. All right. Well, based on all these, actually, before we do playoff matchups, Sean, could you give me the leaders? Look who leads in goals.
Oh yeah,
Love it for our guy, Adam Fantilli. 4 goals, tied with Matthew Olivier, who famously is from Mississippi, unlike Chapel Roan. Love it. And Matvei Mishkov leading the way in points with Samuel Honzik, who it's weird sleeping on that guy. He's gonna do a little damage for these Calgary Flames.
apologies to that man.
Apologies to that man, but I don't even think we mentioned him in our Flames preview.
Absolutely not.
But there were comments on our Flames preview that were like, you guys clearly don't know a lot about the Flames. And I was like,
Point.
We started
Clearly.
our
That's the
we
point.
started our preview by being like, we don't
know a lot about
Flames.
these. You said you were like, this is probably the team that I most don't know who guys are.
I also
or like what's going on.
would want to show any of those fans our Minnesota preview and be like, it could be worse.
That's true. Yeah.
You're lucky we
Have you ever heard
mentioned your team at all.
of Indeed, because we know more about Indeed than we know about the Minnesota Wild.
There were a few comments on the Flames preview too that people were like, if you don't know about us, why would you do a preview? Maybe just skip this one. And it's like,
Ever heard of SEO?
right.
We're trying.
We got you here.
Subscribe to the. Yeah, that's right.
Thanks for the view.
What are you doing here, Sean? Throw back up the leaders, because Dan Vladar is your Vezina winner. Love that.
Famously, the person with the most wins gets the Vezina.
Well, there's no other way to quantify the preseason goalie stats, like, because that the only thing that
goals
showed
saved above average.
every every goalie has played like 1.5 minutes in the preseason. So the only thing that has shown that a goalie has been playing and that it hasn't gone horribly is wins and losses.
But like they sub goalies out at like
I was
the
gonna say,
intermissions.
it should have just
So,
been the
like
goalie
Dan
with
Vladar
the-
could just be playing like a lot of third
It
periods.
should have been the goalie with the
Important
most
third
time on
periods.
ice.
What's that?
Should have just been the goalie with the most time on ice.
That would probably be Jonas Korpisalo.
I was gonna say.
Because he's like their only guy. Shut up, Brandon Bussey. Did not mean that. Someone said, should the Bruins trade Swayman for Vladar? Famously, they traded Vladar when they signed Ullmark.
That's true.
Everyone thought that Vladar would maybe be a backup type of situation. And I got a text message the day of that free agency that said, the Bruins are going to sign Linus Ullmark and trade Dan Vladar to the Flames. And I was like, that's very specific, but
Doesn't seem
I
right.
don't think that's right, and I don't believe that. I texted a person who was involved in it. They didn't get back to me, and then a couple hours later, I was like, well, I'll be fucking damned. Why'd you do that, Bruins? That's weird, but it ended up working out.
I like this comment that Vladar is making the All-Star game.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, and if anybody asks why. So, Pete, you were being a hater when you said, ooh, famously the wins don't matter. That he's a winning player. That's a shot at Avalanche fans who normally I love Avalanche fans, but you were on the wrong side of history with the Georgiev shit.
Oh yeah, I think that like half of them recognize it in the moment too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, sorry to take anything away from Dan Vladar, but Yeah,
Sorry to
that's
this
enough.
man.
Sorry to this man. Sorry, I'm going to be saying a lot of sorry to this man to every person on the Calgary Flames, with the exception maybe of Rasmus Andersson
No.
and Connor Zary.
Shout out my guy, Samuel Honzek. I know he's a right wing. I know he was a first round pick in 2023. I know he has 7 points this preseason. I know that's tied with Matvei Mishkov. I know that the thing with Mishkov was like, ooh, we can't scout him. We don't know. And now my summary of that player is just going to be all shit about Matvei Mishkov. DJ's getting a Samuel Honzek jersey confirmed.
Let's look at the playoff matchups, because I know you're very excited about these.
Give me the playoff matchups. Okay, if the postseason began today, you would have the Atlantic winning Sabres against the Flyers.
Would.
My heart.
That's the
Would.
best
My
one we're
heart.
going to get.
Matvei
Would.
Mishkov is going to score 83 points, and they're going to get swept by the Buffalo Sabres.
Yes, that would rule. Red Wings, Senators. Love that because
Also rocks.
that's both. Those are two teams that were like, we'd like to see these teams make moves, and they have some players that we really, really like.
That's the next step bowl. That's what we would call that.
The next step bowl in the Metro, the Rangers would host the defending Stanley Cup champions, but that shit don't matter once it's the preseason, boy. Florida Panthers, Rangers Panthers in a rematch of the Eastern Conference Final, but that doesn't matter. This is the preseason now.
What
whole new season.
we didn't consider about the Sabres one is that they won the preseason President's Trophy. So
Or they cursed.
they might be cursed here.
Ooh,
They
good
might
point.
get swept by the Flyer.
That's also the Risto Bowl,
Yes.
famously.
And the Briere Bowl.
I like the Risto Bowl.
I like the Risto
Yes.
Bowl more.
I more like that my brain went to Risto Bowl before it went to Briere
Rasmus
Bowl.
Ristolainen.
The Rasmus Ristolainen Bowl. Blue Jackets against the Islanders. Wonder who will root for in that one.
That's the most lopsided, like, who gives a fuck New York Islanders.
Yes, that's a who they playing bowl. We did who you play for yesterday. Man, Blue Jackets Islanders would rock. The West gets really fun too.
Oh, boy.
Because there would be conference final rematches in the first round of each conference. Although maybe, as you noted, maybe the Oilers wouldn't be a wild card team. Maybe it would be the Canucks by points. But it's way more fun for it to be the Oilers. So that's the official one there. The Hockey Club against the Wild. That could be sneaky boring. I won't lie.
Oh,
I'd be
sneaky,
very in
you
on
think?
So
You're the most boring market in the NHL versus the second most boring market in the NHL.
Hey, don't
But
do
this
that
is-
to
no,
Utah.
why-
the Wild, the
Minnesota-
market's not boring.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's
just a general-
my mistake.
There's
team.
nothing boring about the Utah Hockey Club.
correct.
It's the most boring market in the NHL, though. Utah.
We don't know. They got cool
Their
concessions.
fans are like the fans for the Jazz are pretty legit as long as they're not being racist. Less of a problem in the NHL. So I feel
that's
like
a new Sean quote that somebody needs to make. They're pretty legit as long as they're not being racist.
I mean they are very passionate and maybe to a fault sometimes, but I'm in on the Utah Hockey Club head to toe.
in the Pacific, you got the Pacific winning Flames. Bet you know about them now, bitches. Against Wild Card 2 Canucks and the famously making the playoffs Kings against the Golden Knights.
They don't have to play the Oilers.
That's
I gotta
true.
say, are those better matchups than we got last year in the playoffs? Like in the actual playoffs? Like it doesn't have Bruins
No.
Leafs.
Yeah.
So
But we also don't have Rangers Capitals. I don't think any of
There's
these
not
series
there's
are
not
as
as
bad
much
as
of a stinker as there was
Yes.
in the
yes,
actual playoffs.
none of these are stink. Is anybody food? I don't think anyone's
based
food.
on preseason play or based on what they're going to be in the regular season, because they're two very different things.
I don't think so. The preseason is a
Is everything true?
harbinger,
I think the Calgary
Harbinger?
Flames would be food
What is it?
against
Harbinger?
the
a
Canucks.
harbinger of things to come. Famously, what'd you say, Pete? Sorry.
I think the Flames would be food against the Vancouver Canucks.
Yeah, I think so too. Although, don't sleep on. Hold on, Samuel Honzek. Don't sleep on him.
Don't sleep on the. Let me make sure I get this right.
Don't sleep on. Hold on. Let me just brush my teeth and have my coffee here. So that is our that is today's preseason project that I honestly thought was a good one.
Okay.
I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it a lot. I always enjoy
learned a
talking.
lot.
What's that?
I learned a lot.
Yes, exactly. I always enjoy talking to our friend Cam, who joins us now. Cam was in Seattle for the big event for NHL 25. Do we have Cam? Am I making that up?
There he is. Well, look at that, wearing that
Hi,
Seattle hat.
hello.
Hello.
Can you hear
Oh,
me?
is that a Seattle hat on Cam Halbert?
They have great merch. There was a lot of great options. I'm not gonna lie.
Their arena looks fucking awesome too. You got what was that your first Seattle experience?
Yeah, it was my first time in Seattle. It wasn't as rainy as I thought it would be. And we got to go to we got a tour of Climate Pledge. Honestly, the technological advancement of that arena makes it one of the best in the NHL. I still don't think it tops UBS, but I might be biased there. I just think that arena is a castle, but it's extremely impressive from top to bottom. It's very weird when you walk in, like from street level, and it's basically looks like a one floor building because it's so far down. So definitely one of the nicest arenas. It was a great experience. EA had a bunch of the creators out, and we got to play at their practice facility. A couple of the Kraken came up from after training camp and were hanging out with us and whatnot. Beniers was there, as was Shane Wright. But really good event, top to bottom. Had a lot of fun, and now we're just grinding NHL 25.
Okay, amazing. I did not do a proper introduction because we were transitioning
That's okay.
between a bunch of stuff, but it is Cam Halbert, a.k.a. Sleeveless Gaming on YouTube, who we hope you're all following and subscribed to. If you're subscribed to us, we would like you to be subscribed to him as well, because I am not a heavy video game player, but I watch video game videos because of Cam, and he absolutely rocks. You were at that event. You played NHL 25. You're currently grinding on NHL 25. That comes out on Friday. So what is the biggest complaint going to be about NHL 25?
Oh, I love that you come with the heat immediately. Also,
Giving people
you
what they
are
want.
you are a video game boy, dude. The Parappa the Rapper reference makes you absolutely a video game connoisseur. When it comes to what people are going to complain about when it comes to NHL, um, there's a lot of D2D one-timers. There's skill-based one-timers are now a thing, and I think that maybe the player base might find that those go in quite a bit. But I mean, franchise mode specifically, I talked a little bit about this last time I was on. Franchise mode looks and is pretty heat so far, fellas. So if you're out there and you've been playing NHL for a long time and you like being the armchair GM, maybe you like to make some of the crazy trades or scenarios that these fine fellows sit down and discuss and make up, you might be able to do that and have a little bit more fun than in years past. So franchise looks like it's in a pretty decent spot. We'll wait and see once everyone gets their hands on it. Right now we're in early access, and I'm currently live on a subathon. I've been live for like 40 hours, so I apologize for the cot in the background.
What's a subathon? Because we should be doing that.
Wait, so are you streaming while doing the show right now?
Technically, yeah. Like I've got this video up so my stream can
Oh.
see it. But yeah, I've been live for like 40 hours. So I slept on stream to this past morning, got like 5.5 hours, and then we're just back up. We keep going. Every time someone subscribes to the channel, 5 minutes gets added to the clock. My community has been extremely generous so far, so I've been going since like Monday afternoon, and we'll keep going for a max to
You didn't know
7
about
days,
this?
and then I gotta call it.
I know about the thing where you have to add time. How many subs you get off that?
Quite a few. I'm at 1,164 currently
During the stream?
during the stream. Yeah.
What the fuck? Let's do. All right, thank you, Cam. Let's just start doing that now.
DJ's such like a sub whore that now like we're absolutely going to be doing a subathon because of you.
You're
motherfucker.
24. You're uncapped subathon when the season starts. Like that's I feel like what's got to happen now on YouTube. Oh yeah, you're toast.
Uncapped
apologize, Sean.
subathon when the season starts would be incredible because theoretically we could die.
We could be live for the entire season.
Just like until we die.
The first hockey podcast to be live the entire 82 game season.
And then the comments would be, what jersey do you think we get? We don't know, because it would turn into like who dies first, who offers themselves up for cannibalism first.
If you did a subathon from the start of the season to the end of the regular season, you could retire.
We probably could.
Well,
you could retire. You'd be like, oh, it was a good run.
One way or another, yeah, we would be retired. Sean's got such a there's going to be at least 20% of their brains combined that is like going to want to talk about this after. I'm not fucking doing it.
I've played a few games of NHL 25 so far. I'm curious about your thoughts on like state of gameplay, state of presentation, outside of like full game modes, just like you're dropping in, what's the game like?
Gameplay this year, I kind of when they released all the Ice Q features, they called it. I don't think I mentioned that I didn't think they were going to be like game break or game changing. It just makes the game look a little bit cleaner. And this year, so far, I mean, I played like 40 games maybe online. I haven't noticed as many of those like I mentioned, like stick through the boards and those, your goalie is kicking it into his own net. I haven't seen a lot of that. It looks a lot smoother. Like I said, I think that one of the main focuses so far has been the one-timers. The one-timer is definitely back in NHL 25, and it's awfully satisfying when you hit it. It just goes in maybe a little too much for the player base liking, but I think there'll be an adjustment period there. But it feels really smooth, and knock on wood. We'll wait and see. There's obviously always things that they can improve and whatnot, but so far it's been half decent in terms of gameplay, which I think is usually always extremely critical.
So if anybody is somehow joining us, by the way, from Cam's stream, subscribe. We love you. People in the chat are noting that. So
fellas, make sure you hop over there.
Yes, I just my initial takeaways. This is my opinion. The game feels really good. It does. The gameplay feels really good. They've improved on some things that I was hoping that they would improve on. I haven't gotten into franchise mode, but one thing that like really stood out to me, it's a small thing. The replay system is so much better in this game, where like when you would play games in previous years, they would show you like an absolutely terrible replay after something cool happened. They've fixed that, which I really, really appreciate. My biggest complaint from a game, like single game kind of system, which may play into franchise mode, but like it doesn't feel like there's a uniqueness to the games. Like, and I feel that way because I go from College Football 25, which like you go into a game, and whether it's the presentation, whether it's kind of the different and the variety of things that happen from a game to game basis, you're like, that's really cool. I haven't seen that yet. Or like, it just feels like this game has its own personality. You don't get that on a game-by-game basis in NHL 25. You didn't get it in 24. You didn't get it in 23. I think that's really where they need to improve.
Yeah, and it's funny because, I mean, college football, that was the biggest. It was so refreshing. We talked about this last time. Like, college football is one of the first sports games where they had multiple years lined up, and they really focused on presentation as well as, like, offline modes, like Race for the Heisman and Dynasty and things like that. And I think that a lot of sports fans really crave that traditional, like, broadcast experience and the individuality of each of the arenas. Like they do an okay job, I guess, at the bowls and how those are set up, like the architecture in game. But you're really not looking at that except for when you see the replays of it, and it is kind of basic. Like MSG, for example, you can see that like the lower bowl when right before the glass, where like there's that space in between where you walk down, things like that. But I agree. I think that one of the biggest things, I mean, I obviously my main mode is Hockey Ultimate Team, and something that I've harped on is that they don't show the center ice logo of the arena you're using or the logo you're using. They show like whatever mode you're playing in HUT, and that just goes to show you. I agree with when it comes to presentation. I just want to see the traditional arena logo. But what you said about how the games don't feel any different or special, I agree with that. Like I think they need to do a really big Passover for presentation where it kind of mimics what you see. The one that just comes off the top of my head is the whiteout in Winnipeg. I want to see that, things like that in more of the individuality. It'd be really cool. We were in when we were in Seattle. It's hard to get the copyright, I'm sure, for all of the goal songs. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't really know the process of that. But they have like one of the cooler like after goal song like chants, and that stuff's infectious to me. So maybe again, we're a little bit older and we've been playing franchise mode since we were kids. But I agree. I think that makes it way more immersive if you can get that presentation to the level of college football. I don't know if it'll ever get there because of just the investment and how big the sport is, but I would love to see that.
One of the things that I know NHL 25 was pushing as an improvement was AI and your teammates, when you have the puck, if it's like the computer, what they're doing. I'll base this on like playing games a million years ago, where like you have the puck and you make a logical hockey play, but that your teammate is like has his like butt in somebody else for some dumb reason. And like what makes hockey so great is like, let's say you're playing with the Oilers. If you have the puck and you're not Connor McDavid, you should assume that Connor McDavid is doing something crazy and that he's going to slip through somebody or whatever. Has that come as advertised? Like, have you noticed an improvement in teammates making plays when you have the puck?
Like I said, so like when all of the three things, so the I think it's called reactive AI is what they called it. All of those little things it makes the game look a little bit cleaner. I haven't noticed AI running into each other like was one of the biggest issues over the last few years. So it is definitely improved. I don't think it's at a perfect point, but something to note that one of the bigger things that they talked about was that the AI will fight to get open. And I definitely noticed that. And again, it kind of drives to not forcing, but the game is definitely pushing you to look for a one timer. And again, that's kind of like the main, the skill based one timer is kind of the thing that they're pushing. And it definitely promotes cycling the puck more and making passing plays, quick movements, things like that to look for that open one timer. So they definitely fight to get open. So that is an improvement itself. It just, I think the actual one timers are a little over the top, but we'll have to see. Maybe they'll tinker with them throughout the season. The other thing I would love to see, again, touching on presentation when you're playing someone in game, is just there's a lot on the screen that doesn't look like real hockey, like the pressure meter, and then when you have a skill-based one-timer, it kind of lights up green, and it reminds me of someone in the community. I think Uninstall is his name. Showed like a clip where it's like this NBA 2K when you hit the green, when you get a green shot, it just looks very arcadey. And I think that for some people that might not be what they want, but it does look like there are options to turn it off if you're playing franchise mode, which is nice.
There are, because I was playing last night and I was I think you should leave me. There's too much fucking shit on me. I turned off all of that. There's just so many things happening all at once. And like part of my complaint about NHL too is like they're improving the gameplay with like these small tweaks, like the pressure meter is a nice addition to the game, in my opinion, but it shouldn't be in your face. Like that should just be an under the hood kind of thing where like you shouldn't know that the pressure meter is on, but like as you build pressure in a zone in hockey, like that should lead to better results. And I think that they want to make sure and like slap a label on every new feature that they have, which is a little bit annoying.
No, 100%. I talked about this last year when they added the full pressure system and the goalie fatigue system, I think they called it. It's a very arcadey way to get to a sim-based result.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, if you are just pumping your opponent in the offensive zone, like those players, when you get stuck out there for a 2-minute shift against Connor McDavid, they barely move, or a power play that's stuck out there for a full 2 minutes. By the end of that 2 minutes, they're not moving in real hockey. And I think that there really wasn't a way to emulate that in the video game. So this full pressure system is a very arcadey way to kind of get to that result where all your players, if you're stuck in your own zone, you can barely skate. You're hoping your goalie makes a save, and so you can freeze the puck. But like I mentioned, it's a very arcadey way to get to a sim-based result. And now that you can turn off like at least seeing it, maybe at least in franchise mode, I think that that's an improvement for some players, because the system in the background, I think it's okay. Again, just if it's not so much flashing lights and stuff on the ice, because it reminds me of like NHL Hits, but NHL Hits was so over the top that you knew what you were doing when you went into it. You're trying to play like something that looks like what you watch on TV, and that's maybe not what the entire player base wants to see.
That's why I want to be able to turn off the the post goal celebration cutscene things. Just let me go back to the way it used to be. It feels very jarring every time I score a goal that they cut into like this cinematic thing. So that's my next ask. Please do that. So you've had it for like less than a week at this point. Yep. Above what you expected, below what you expected? Are you happy, unhappy?
Oh, man. I'm so pessimistic every year because I've been doing this for so long now. I'm at like a 7. with the potential to be at an 8, which I think when it comes to the NHL video game landscape, there's just been so much hatred since NHL 14. This game has a lot of potential, especially for Hockey Ultimate Team. Again, that's my main mode, so it's always the one that I kind of go back to. But again, we'll have to wait and see. I think it's currently a 7, could be a 6, could be an 8. So I think the next month is going to be very important with like content and updates and patches and stuff like that. In terms of, and then once the big thing online is once the player base figures out kind of the path of least resistance to scoring, that's always like the worst spot, because in a video game, the better you get at the video game, the less it emulates the real sport, and the more you're playing a video game and trying to do and break that, right? So it's always a delicate balance, but I've got a little bit more faith after the first few days, but we'll have to wait and see.
I know how to bring it up to maybe an 8 or 9. You said that they're really pushing one-timers. I think that maybe in a future game, they should embrace tapping it in on the doorstep. There's this guy called Zach Hyman, who I think could make an incredible cover athlete.
I would love to see the maybe underrated stars get a cover athlete shot. I remember, I think it was NHL 17. Actually, I'll never forget it because there was a cover vote. And Tarasenko won it, but Pavelski, I believe, made it to the very end. And I remember being devastated because Tarasenko ended up winning it. I would love to see that. Just put everyone in there. Hyman's a 50-goal scorer, Oil Nation, you're an oil man yourself. I'm sure that you would get the numbers up. Maybe we could get Zach Hyman on the cover.
It would be incredible and like pretty on brand if in like NHL 26, the standout feature was now featuring tap in goals.
Now featuring scoring in front of the net.
You can score from 6 inches out. Pretty sick, right? Like that would be unbelievable.
Well, I mean, when you were talking about the one-timer thing, I'm like, oh man, it would be hard to not want to be the Oilers, because in addition to all the great offensive players they have, got Evan Bouchard back there, and if one-timers are rewarded, amazing. And then my brain went to, but it'd be even cooler if they were prioritizing just tapping it in.
I agree.
How do you feel about Macklin Celebrini? Are you scared that he's like hurt?
Precautionary?
How do we feel?
I was still streaming, and I had the game up just kind of in the corner of my eye on my other monitor last night. Saw like the player and was scored on the breakaway, and I saw him just kind of going to the boards. Stopped breathing for a couple minutes. It doesn't look like it's his foot, though, from my understanding. It looks like it's his shoulder, which I think is like a good thing considering he fell into the board. Like, I don't know. I thought that it might be a long-term thing, and I hope it's not, man, because goodness, the first few preseason games with Macklin Celebrini, it is different watching him with the puck, and I haven't seen something like that since like prime Joe Thornton.
That team
as a Shark fan,
that team looks so fun, man. I saw our friend Jay Fresh, I believe, was trying to take a shot at the Sharks. And he tweeted out their defensive pairings, and he said,
"Oh yes,
it was Mario Ferraro and Cody Ceci." And he said, "The Sharks' top pair is basically 2 Cody Cecis." And I was like, I don't know if you're trying to say that as a bad thing. That's the coolest shit I've ever heard in my life. What a top pairing! What a team! What vibes!
My hopes would be they're still going to finish last, but my hopes would be like 2 years ago, Buffalo Sabres, where they score 6 but give up 7. That would be the most amount of fun.
That's
think
what
that
we
we're
call
still a couple years
high
ago.
octane hockey, pal. That's what we like
exactly.
to see.
That's the
All
real
gas.
pure stuff. That's none of this newfangled 3-2 bullshit. Nobody wants that. Well,
Get that
Cam,
outta
you're the best. Thank you so much for coming on with us. I should note that the chat was hammering Parappa the Rappa references, and that makes me very happy as somebody who only knows like 3 video games. But you inform us very well, and once I ever get a system, maybe we'll do some stuff together.
Chat can go ahead and litter the comments with everything that they want in NHL 25, everything that they hate about it. Hate sells, so go ahead and hammer those comments, please.
We got a lot of that over last time I was on. You guys, NHL, there's always a lot of hatred for it, but I still will never get over the fact that 3 video games and Parappa the Rappa is one. So it's always great to hop on, guys. I appreciate it, and go Sharks.
We'll see you soon, buddy.
Go Sharks. Bye, buddy. Isn't he just terrific? I am kind of thinking, Jeem, about maybe getting a system. I asked yesterday, I said, should I get it? And you said,
So
not if it's for
yes,
NHL.
do not spend like $600 to get a PlayStation 5 to play NHL.
You can buy me a PlayStation 5 and I'll give you my Xbox. It's like a lower, less.
Do you have like the
do-
new gen Xbox?
I have a new
though?
gen Xbox,
Okay.
but it's like the simplest version of the new
I
gen
do
Xbox.
like
I guess.
getting Sean stuff.
That's true. If we
I
do
am a pay pig for Sean.
if we do a subathon and we generate enough revenue, we can get a PlayStation for you or Sean.
If we did a subathon that generated enough money to buy a system, I would be strongly against getting it for me. Because I would not want to put in a lot of work for something that might not get used. I feel sometimes I don't have time to, like, I haven't seen The Penguin yet. I want to watch that.
Mhm.
I want to find out if he can fly. Famously, they can't.
You could do that on the subathon.
I'll watch the, yeah.
I'll play
video
NHL
games?
25 and you watch the Penguin.
This isn't a bad idea. Oh, no, they added 5 minutes. DJ has to watch 5 more minutes of The Penguin. Cool. I like Colin Farrell. I'm into that. Do we maybe sprinkle in some of the sticks into Friday's stream or no? Probably not enough time.
Yeah, I feel like there's
Probably not enough time and probably just too much of a pain in the ass to get the PlayStation set up.
And like Friday's about the Sabres.
That's right.
also true.
I'm very excited. Folks, thank you very much for your time. We'll talk to you tomorrow when we will also talk to Daniel Amagon about Drop Pass, about Zone Entry, the new Amazon show. It's Pete's fault. Nobody knows the name of it. Everybody does. It's actually Face Off, and we love it. Can't wait for everybody to see it, and can't wait for you to hear our chat with Daniel. That will be tomorrow, and then on Friday, yes, we will be streaming along as we watch the Buffalo Sabres open in Praha against the last place New Jersey Devils.
Also, the Sabres had to get dressed on the bus. We didn't mention that.
Oh,
Sabres
Sean,
got
do you
dressed
have
on the
it?
bus.
Dressed on the bus.
Dressed
Oh,
on the
look
bus.
at the boys. Pants on the ground, dressed on the bus.
We talked about this like 2 days ago.
How do you feel about the Fanatics practice jerseys?
I was just
by
going
the
to
way?
say,
I love 'em.
I'm a fan.
I love them.
They're not
Weird
my
to me that they're on sale. Like, I think you're kind of a psychopath if you're going
Exactly.
to buy a practice
That's
jersey.
why I
They
don't
are,
like them.
but they are better than the last
But
year's
they look,
practice
as
jerseys.
practice jerseys, they look good. I would rather, these are, if the Sabres wore these in a game, they wouldn't be the worst jerseys they've ever worn.
Also, Dallas Darnell. What are you talking about? No Avs fan thought Georgie was a good or an all-star last year. I can tell you with
That's
100%
so not true.
certainty and factual information that is fucking false.
Because people got mad at us.
We heard
People
it.
got mad that we were like, how the fuck is this guy in the all-star game? I will say, not all Avs fans felt that way. They were like, don't listen to the other half. So I'm just saying, no Avs fan thought Georgie was good or an all-star is a factually incorrect statement from you, Dallas Darnell.
They were mad, Dallas.
We will see you tomorrow, Dallas.
Bye.
We all silly like the mayor.